Hi everyone, I am back with an update on the Fleur Woods inspired project. I've done quite a bit since the last episode, so I think I'll show you, and then I'll show you a couple of the things that I did and how I did them. So I've got these little grey bits throughout. Now these pink ones and these white ones are made exactly the same way, and I said last time maybe to go and look at Ariane's on how she did it. I've got one here. Basically it's a pink bit of straw that's cut down and it's wrapped. So I've got one here finished, ready. And I'm just using the tail end, or maybe the better order to do it would be to show you how I wrap one. With the pink and with the white, you needed a relatively long piece because it's a lot thinner, whereas with the grey, because it's thick, it tends to fill up pretty quickly. You can do it as tight as you like or as loose as you like. So how I started all of them was putting a bit of thread through, tying it in a knot, left over right, right over left, as we all learnt in Scouts and when we were little. That doesn't come undone. Snipping off the end and then moving this around just so that it doesn't get on the outside. Although with a lot of these, some of them had them on the outside, and you just can put it so that your bit is with that knot underneath. Right, a fair amount. I'm still just using quite a blunt, large wool needle because it goes down in through this little tube really easily, and you're basically just going through. It's quite relaxing if you do it while you're watching TV. You can move them around a bit if they're not sort of sitting where you want them to be. Just start to build up that texture over the edge. So you can see with this thinner stuff it takes a bit longer. I just keep pushing it back and trying to line them up. When you've filled up the whole thing, then you can just use this tail end to stitch it down. Just show you how I've stitched this down. I have to work out where it's going. Once I got this on and started to play around here, I brought in that pink thread. So I've got pink thread and green thread all the way through here. So I got away from my original thought that I was perhaps going to keep it fairly neutral and have a bit of fun with painting. That can go on there. So I'm just, the hessian's quite good because you can just poke it through. And now if you want that to stand up, you can pull it tight and just keep sewing it. Or if you want it more like a little bit of a log, just come up the other end and go through once or twice, depending on how your thread is. And then you can just cast it off at the back, which I'll do later. I just want to go through a few more things. Now, from my Temu order, I had these fluffy pipe cleaners, and I was playing around and thought I tried to see if I liked them sort of like this, which hang on, I'll put it on its side, which I kind of don't mind. But I ended up doing this, and what I did was I threaded the bead on, and I think that when it's all filled up, it's not really going to matter that I've put a dark piece in. I've also covered a couple of these beads and put them in, because if you think of nature and rock pools and things like that, they're all multicoloured. So I just to secure it a bit more, I just put this in, and then I just bent it and put it through here. like that, stitched it down a little bit. Just to show you on the back. I stitched it down all the way around, and then I stitched over this little tail so as it was sitting down. So that's another thing I did. Now I'm just going to go through all the other bits I've done. One thing I did want to show, I don't think I've got enough length here, but I use quite a long shishiko needle, and I did a whole heap of drizzle stitches. A dark green, a light green, and a sort of a medium green. It's sort of sitting down. Some pinks. Then I continued out over here, and then I did one cotton one, which is really looks like a rock in the desert in America or something. Then I wrapped a few buttons to fill up this space. So I've still got a space here. I've got a couple of beads that I've just done. What I did with these, tied a knot and then just poked it down through and secured them. Just want to get one that has, I've got all these little loose bits on the top that are 3-strand or 2-strand. I actually want to use a whole 6 strands. Now I've already got, as you can see, lots of different colours, but I still want to stick to my original idea. I don't want to get too far with too many colours, and I say that and I see that I have already done that. I didn't want to get too far, but it's just been this organic process, really, this process of what happens if, which is a wonderful process. All right, I'll make this relatively long. Now I do a knot to secure it on the back, and I'm going to come up in the middle here. I'll see if I can do a relatively tall one. So I've got my thread, the knot's at the back, it's secure. Now I unthread my needle, and now I'm going to poke my needle in. I just put on a little bit of angle. I think that this wool mat's helping a little bit just to anchor it there, but I might want to come right up here, and basically, and I'm left-handed, so if you need a right-hander, maybe have a hunt around YouTube. I'm just putting my finger here, twisting it, and it creates like a little sort of a slip knot over the top. So I'll see if you can see this on the angle. Put my finger here, turn it round like a slip knot. It's like almost like crocheting, or it's actually like a knitting cast on. And then you're going to do as many of those as you want. Well, this is a nice vibrant colour, so I feel a little bit like I want to do a super long one and see how it looks. But like I say, it's always just, it's play. It's play, it's creativity, it's discovery, it's what happens if I do that. So if I push that down, I get an idea of what the height will be when it's been secured. Like I say, I want to do it a bit taller. And then what you do, and I will probably need to use my little flower thing. When you feel like you've got the height you want, you thread your thread. These little threaders really help. Now I'm going to, I don't want too long a tail because sometimes it's difficult, and you're going to push it down through that whole thing, that whole little column that you just made. Now if you need to help it, you can give it a wiggle if you've done it a bit tight, and as you pull it through, there's the end. Now one thing you have to check out is to not have that all knotted, because sometimes that means that you get a little bit of a loop at the top. You can do that, of course. That's something you might want to do on purpose. So I might make another one or two in that little spot. Really get a bit of height there in the middle of the thing. Next to the other one. Probably make a couple more off camera. I'm just doing it again just to show. Put it through the eye, down through. Make sure my tail's not too long. There you go. So that's 2 more drizzle stitches in this little, whatever it is, rock pool, whatever. And I'm just going to leave that there because I will probably do another 1 or 2. So these are drizzle stitches through here, the drizzle stitches through here, and 1 drizzle stitch. The other things I want to go through, I put on this bit of lace because it was cute, and then I just did some sort of loose, like I did a stitch and I left it loose, so little loose things that held up this little bit of broderie that I love. I put the buttons on and I've stitched them so there's a bit of thread coming out just to, you know, add a bit more interest, a bit of wild and woolly. I've stitched down some little coloured beads through this scruffy bit here, extra beads. I've got these, let me get the little tub. These little funny things, there's a name for them. I'll have to hunt it out and put it in the description. I thought when I was getting them I was getting little ceramic beads, but they're actually little rubber beads that are used, I think, in Japanese work sometimes, because I think they've got a Japanese name, but I wasn't expecting them to be rubber. But look at the different effect. There's just quite interesting. It's fascinating the things you can do, and they have, remember that bit of coloured thread? They've kept that bit of coloured thread down, and then I've put the pink over the top and a little beautiful little cute starfish bead. It's just a star. What else have I done? I've put a bit of orange. So much for saying I wasn't doing too much colour. A couple of orange beads here. You've seen how I've made these. With the one that I showed you before, what I did was one standing up and I just had a lot of little pearls on top. That's how I got that effect. I put a big bead here and a doily, and so that's had a lot of room for me to play with. I've got little pearly things in here. Put another bead so as it can sort of sit over the top. Put some more beads in here and created like just little folds, almost like little oyster folds. Another bead. So I've used the beading to kind of flatten down some of that. It actually looked quite pretty, but I didn't feel I was getting enough interest. Like it just had to have more in there. Now these little beads, I've done similarly to this. I've just done 1 bead, and then I've done 1 little sort of pearly kind of beautiful bead, and I had that grouping there, and when I put this bead here I just ended up putting 1 more little purple one there. So here we are. I still have quite a bit of this area and this area to fill in, And let's see where we get to next time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.